First off, I just want to thank Dr. Kinder Bogus and our athletic director, Coach Garrett, for this opportunity. Also, I would really like to thank Coach Osborne. Without him, none of this is possible. He's not only one of the best mentors I've ever had, but one of my dear friends. And without him, none of this would be possible. But, I'm really excited about this opportunity. Concord has always been home for me. To have this opportunity and honor in my hometown is indescribable. This is family. This is where I fell in love with the game at Coach Osborne's camps when I was just 8 years old. My dad would bring my sister and I to Coach Osborne's and Coach Cox, the boys and girls camp, back to back. So it's always been Concord. I've always had a passion here. So to have this honor and to receive this job is a dream come true for sure. As well as the only word I can come up with is I'm just so gracious and thankful. Hopefully I don't get emotional, but this is where my heart is and has always been. Watched the program the last 8 years being behind Kenny, really worked through a lot of ups and downs, but we built something special here in a family that we have, and I'm extremely excited to move forward with that. So,
questions for Coach Southcott?
Coach, tell me about what are the big takeaways. You've been with the program now for 8 years.
Yes.
At Concord. What are the big takeaways that you'll apply as head coach from your experiences?
Sure. Too many to name for sure. But one thing that I took got as soon as I got here is the people is what made Concord. And the people that I have been surrounded by in the assistant position here at Concord, they have such a strong love and passion for this place and the athletic department that that passion and that love I want to take forward and keep throwing back into our program. The other thing about Concord is our work ethic here, the coaches, the players, just in general, everything that I've witnessed on campus here at Concord in my last 8 years is our work ethic goes beyond any opponent we will face or any other school in the state, and the work ethic of always being hardworking and loyal in moving forward is something that I want to still instill.
What kind of goals do you have as head coach? May that be specific goals or just like overall taking over the program? What are you hoping to implement?
Sure. Coach Osborne for the last 22 years has had, he's the winningest coach here. And so I just want to continue that winning tradition. And like I said before, that hardworking, loyal, passionate program that he has built, I want to continue that. That's for up front first, my main goal, to continue that excellence that he's built here. Of course, I think each coach has their own style of coaching, and I think, each coach and each program have their own culture and way to do things. But because of the success in the program that he has built, I hope just to implement new things here and there to only better that. But as well as I believe a head coach's style changes year to year. I believe it changes season, and it changes game to game. It's based on your personnel, it's based on the players you have, and we have great people in our program and we have great players in our program. So I'm just excited to continue that and keeping great people in our program to help succeed.
How cool is it to see the work you put in as an assistant pay off in becoming the head coach?
Sure. I don't know that there's words for it. When I first came here, truthfully, we didn't win a lot of games in those first couple years. And to see a program change from those couple seasons to now and know all those hours and, long recruiting phone calls that Coach Osborne and I put into to build it back up, it's kind of surreal. It makes me speechless, to be honest. Like I said, this is a job I've always wanted, and this is in my hometown, and this is why it's so dear to my heart. So it's indescribable to me, but I'm just excited to have my family here supporting me, and this is home for my husband and I, and it always will be. So I'm excited for that.
Coach, you mentioned that you've been here for a while as the assistant. You finally get the head coach job. Is there any sort of when you dream about it for a while, you have these visions kind of build up. Is there anything that you really want to just implement or the most excited about, I guess, to say?
I probably couldn't say one thing, to be honest. I think I'm just really excited for the new role. I've been told multiple times by my mentors and Coach Osborne and also my mentor and Coach Harvey Brian Harvey that coached me at Ferrum College, they both instilled in me that 15 feet, 15 inches over into the head coaching seat, that's a long distance, even though it doesn't seem so much. So, but I'm excited. I can't explain, into words what specifically I'm most excited about, but I think just the girls that I've gotten to know, the people that we brought in this program with the recruiting, I feel like just having that new role with them is probably what I'm most excited about.
Coach, speaking of recruiting, this program has had big centers in Riley, Fitzwater, Jaleesa Brown, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
Is the future of this conference more like Glenville State with the 2 platoon system, or are you going to try to continue the way Concord has been?
The way Concord has been. I will probably want to play a little bit more fast than Coach Oz liked to play all those years. But I believe in a true center. We brought in 2 great post players in this class of 9 right recruits right now. Riley Fitzwater is a unicorn at Division II is what I like to call her, in a sense that 6'5" and a pro basketball player isn't always the case when you go recruit a post player. But we do have a lot of great, posts still with us as well as coming in with this class. I would say that more of my style is not definitely the fast of 2 platoons with Glenville, although they're very successful. But it's more of dictating. I like the thought of dictating the opponent, dictating the pace of play, whether that's we're changing more defenses and whether that's a lot of different lineups to be thrown, whether we play slow one possession and the next possession we're running it back down their throat. I like the thought of changing paces and keeping the opponent on their toes. So that's one thing you can definitely look forward to seeing.
Obviously, in your hometown, growing up, did you ever picture this day happening? I mean, obviously becoming a head coach at the collegiate level is an accomplishment in and of itself, but to do it in your hometown, what is that like for you?
Growing up in camp here, like I said, coming to camp every summer, that's where I felt like I fell in love with the game and fell in love with it. Was going to take a hard work ethic to make it and be successful. I think when you go away to college, and that was what was best for me at the time, and I think you appreciate what you have at home and where you're from once you went away from it. And I think that after I graduated college, I knew that I wanted to be back home. But from a very early age, I wanted to coach. So whether that was, a short goal of wanting to be a high school head basketball coach, or whether that meant, moving on to college, I've been very blessed with the opportunities that have been laid in front of me and the doors that have opened. I was our Princeton head coach when I got out of college there for 1 year, and Coach Osborne's assistant job came available, and it just felt like what was right for my family and myself. But coaching is something I always wanted to do. I didn't know if I would ever have the opportunity in my hometown. That's why it's super emotional and super exciting for me. Both of my parents still reside here, and like I said, my husband is a coach in the area, and our daughter's here. So for me to have that support here is indescribable.
We can hear your daughter in the background.
Yes.
Nothing wrong. You grew up in the Princeton school system and played for the Tigerettes. What kind of influence did that have on your development as a basketball analyst, I guess?
Yeah. Coach Debbie Ball, was my coach for the 4 years that I played. And we butted heads at time, and she will tell you the same. And I think that that's a part of my playing career that I learned a lot of discipline in a sense. And I think that is something that I will use for sure moving forward, becoming a head coach myself. But discipline is one thing that jumps out at me that she taught me at a very young age. Princeton, gives so many memories. We made the state tournament for the first time in a very long time when I was there, and my sister made it after me. But Princeton is very dear, and it was very hard to leave that first head coaching job that I had the opportunity to have there. But to know then to see what has brought you today, I would have done it in a heartbeat too. So, but Princeton definitely gave discipline back to me for sure at a very young age.
You mentioned you still have family in the area since you grew up here.
Yeah.
Can you describe what that feeling is going to be like on the first game, having your family and everybody here and
Sure.
watching you as your new role?
I'm very blessed that my family doesn't miss very many home games now. When I was the assistant, whether I was a player at Ferrum College 2.5 hours away, I've been very lucky to have my parents follow me and my sister both in our playing careers and coaching careers. So it may not be that different in a sense because they've always been there for me and always been there to support me. But it's going to be very special. Our first game of the year will actually be on the road, but I can honestly say that I can see both of them making the trip. So it's exciting.